Hi there guys, it's me Rogi. I've been asked kind of a few times on my site if I would have another look at Rebirth since the decision I made to quit the X community. I made the decision basically on the fact that I was disappointed with the game, and after around about a year's worth of waiting I didn't notice the changes I wanted to see. So it's been a while, and since a few people have been asked, I thought I would have a look. Now, the reason why I've started in Windows is because I wanted to show everybody how long ago since I actually re-looked at the game. Now, if we get Steam up and have a look at Rebirth, hopefully you can see, but if you can't, I can't do much about it. Anyway, so when the last time I played it was on the 13th of the 8th 2014, so roughly around 3 months ago since I've looked at it. During the time I've had it, I've played it for 79 hours roughly. That's kind of not a true amount of time because before Rebirth was on Steam, it was in a sort of, well, not before it was on, but it was a test version which didn't have Steam on it, and that came a bit later. And then after it was on Steam, there was a separate sort of version of it which was called the Cheat Execute, and that allowed you to basically sort of spawn ships, jump around the universe as such. I mean, it was really meant for testing and that, but for me, I used it quite often because I wanted to check my maps and things. I wanted to do pictures of ships and basically try and work out what was going on. So that time up there is probably the amount of time I've spent just messing about and having a look at the plot, basically. So anyway, let's get into the game and see what's changed. Well, this is my old save game. I must have made it about 10-11 months ago. It's just after completing the main plot, and at this point I was a bit sort of confused of what to do next, so I kind of just left it there. It's quite a thing to actually see it still loaded in after all this time, because I could, quite honestly, after this amount of time you could expect it not to work still, but it seems to. So I mean, this doesn't really give them the game a fair chance of recreating everything, because if it's like the older X games, most of the galaxies created on a new universe start, and since this is an old save, if the things that were in the old maps will be still present in this, and yet if they've added any new stuff, that won't be here. But anyway, I think the main reason why I kind of left it here is because this is supposed to be kind of a hostile area, and it was kind of like nobody was attacking me, so it felt like there was no challenge. I mean, I did take on a few. There was a few big ships. I think there was Xenon's K's or something, or I think they're called Branch 9s or something. And I basically just hid in the blind spot and totally destroyed it without any sort of resistance. And it once again it felt there was no challenge. So between that and this, I kind of went off and did something else. Now, at this point, I could have a quick look to see if anything's kind of changed much. I do know that the menus have been changed, and instead of the little radar thing at the bottom, or radio, we've got the old style X, Albion, Albatron, Terran Conflict menus, if you can see, and these are kind of look very, very similar to that of the previous games, if not pretty much identical. But it's a bit of a shame that they've added these menus like that, which is clearly a lot better. But when you go into, say, your ship status, for example, we're back to these style menus. It's a shame they didn't overhaul these ones as well, because I don't really get on with these menus very well. I mean, when you click the sort of plus and minus here, if you've got multiples all next to each other, it does get really confusing which bit's in which. For example, I can't really show it on this menu. I don't know. I don't think there's much change on the universe map as such. It's kind of pretty much the same. I think the last time I kind of looked at this, it kind of looked like the maps were kind of looked like they were not copied as such, but the idea was sort of copied to the way I had it on my site. For example, at the moment you can see there's the overall universe, and then you go inside and you get the little what's it, system map, and then you get your zone map. I mean, one thing I don't like at these maps at the moment is how they're numbered, MA 55-5, rather than actually put Grim Keepers. I mean, it's just a minor thing I think, but it could be a bit more humanised, if you know what I mean. But I think because it's an old save, some of these sectors aren't going to be explored properly, and there's some sort of detail there, but I don't know what that is. Anyway, where I was going on about the tree structure thing in the menus, don't know. No, I'm not sure I can find it straight away. Just remembering where a point it could be. No. I don't know, I thought you had a trade chip or something, I don't know. Maybe it's part of the plot or something, but I don't seem to have that. No, it don't seem to be there. Anyway, one of the biggest gripes for me was the trading. As I think there hasn't been any changes to it. It is kind of pretty much the same. When we go in, we've got this sort of menu where you tell your ship what to do and when to do it and all that. I was kind of very disappointed with that, because it felt that it was more micromanagement, even though this time in Rebirth you're supposed to have a captain and like other people you pay to actually do the stuff. Yeah, in the previous games you just got basically told a ship to get on with something and it did. So that's probably, as I said, I don't think there's much changes there. Drones I was not overly keen on, because they take away control from your own ship. So when you fire a drone, instead of going out and being an automated little robot that protects you, you suddenly taken away from your own ship's control and then placed into the drone. And for me, I think that means the ship's very vulnerable because it's not moving. I mean, I think one of these drones or something does follow you or something. I'm not sure though, but like I said, I'm not over keen on droids at all. And then we've got the standard thing. I don't not too sure if there's much here to explore or something. It's supposed to be the Xenon sort of home area, but let's get there a bit quicker. If I remember correctly, you could land on these, but I think that's with a little icon. One nice thing that I've definitely seen is on the main menu is it's now running with the 64-bit, which means it should be no longer limited to 4 GB. You can now use however much memory it wanted. I mean, when on release it was a 32-bit, but because of the amount of memory they wanted, they basically said it had to be a 64-bit system, because on a 32-bit operating system they can only guarantee up to 2. There is a switch you can do or something, and you can switch it from the split from 2.2 to 3.1, but it's not what you can rely on. So they basically were forced to use 64-bit, even though the execute was only 32. However, with all that changed, it's no longer going to be a problem. Whether that's going to result in any speed increase, I don't know, but it would allow for the place to be expanded on. I'm not really seeing a lot here. I mean, this is what I mean. This is an enemy ship or
taking
something?
fire.
Are we? Where from? Okay. Anyway, that didn't seem to be anything about. I don't know what that was about then. I guess, is that so? Oh, alright, that's one of the big ships. And it seems to just be attacking this. So, actually firing back. Is that a turret? Looks like it.
Get clear.
The station going up. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, it's going up. Oh, well, that's just part of it, I think. Oh, I guess that bit that went up, it's got the bloody turrets on. So it's not even going to fight back now, the station. Anyway, I think what's best to do is go and have a look at a new save game. Well, not a save game, a new game, and see what's changed there. At this point, I mean, like I said, it's it doesn't seem to be anything automatically jumped in your face and said there's anything new to do. I mean, I don't think there's a new plot at the moment on just a standard game. I do know they're doing a so-called DLC, which they're going to be adding a, what is it, Taladi station, and I think that it says 2 systems or 2 sectors, I'm not too sure, and I think there's supposed to be a plot there. The only thing that worries me with that a little bit is that if they're going to do a DLC, and at the moment it's free up to December I think, then what are they going to charge for it after December? And if that's a new phase of what Egosoft are planning to do, I could see that being quite a bad thing. I think at the moment the game's at 40 quid still, and if the DLC is coming for it for what, 8 quid, that's looking at 48 quid, and if there's any future DLCs, it's going to soon kind of mount up quite steep. At the moment, the first DLC is still kind of free if you get on it. Whether you want it, well, you might as well, I suppose, pick it up for free and just have a look later on. But I don't think you've got long at all to get hold of it. Anyway, I think I'll have a look at a new game and see what's changed there. Well guys, this is a new game. I think it's based on Expiring Merchant or something on normal difficulty. Myself, I'm not really a fan of easy, normal and hard difficulties. In a lot of games, simply they just change sort of damage numbers, and it doesn't really, I feel, offer a difficulty setting. I'm not too sure exactly what that offers in here, but I'm guessing it's going to be something similar. I mean, a lot of the times what they do is just, with a sort of space game like this, would be just to adjust the credits you start with. I just think there's been a load of achievements added for doing stuff on different difficulties, and I'm not too sure if they stack or not. They probably don't, which would be quite frustrating. Would the DLC what I was just talking about is you might as well, I suppose, grab it now and see how it goes. I'm not expecting it to change a lot. They said they're going to add a little bit, but if you're kind of not happy with what's going on at the moment in the Galaxia, I wouldn't expect a big change. I don't really have any information on what's in the DLC as such, basically because I exited all the NDA stuff, and I've no longer been on the Egosoft forums for probably 6-7 months really, so I can't really offer any real information. Not even if, although even if I knew, I would be kind of told that I can't say anything, so can't really help there. One thing I did want to have a look on is to see if anything's really changed on the platforms. For me, that was kind of one of the weakest points in the game. The characters look ugly as well, as you can imagine, ugly. There felt very little point to it, and the areas were very, very heavily recycled. It kind of was one of the things that it sounded good.
This is the Alien
and it
Skunk.
probably could have been good if it was actually developed enough. But it kind of got mistreated, and I felt it was kind of like pretty poor. Anyway, it doesn't look like too much has changed straight away. No idea what them little symbols mean. I don't know why the bloke's got a circle on his head. Anyway. What's in here? A hangar? It's a shame you just can't jump in one of them ships and fly it. I mean, for me that's one of the big gripes with the game, being limited to just the one ship. It kind of takes your freedom away. I mean, that's what I was on about with the DLC. You're not going to see, I don't think, anything like that being changed in the DLC necessarily. The game's been built to have just one ship, and the trading's been done the way it is. I think they backtracked a bit on the highways, but other than that, I can't see them basically rewriting big, large parts of the game. And for me, trading and the one ship are kind of two big things that kind of needed sorting. So far, this doesn't look any difference on here. I found the jump button.
Plutarch scares me anyway. Using Xenon tech. Now there's another level of fear.
That was kind of another minor thing for me, was the small talk and all the little mini games. Small talk in particular, because it basically kept on repeating the same things over and over. See if these people look any different. Where's the crouch? Might get the wrong button here. Ah. Nope, you're still ugly. What the drone D there, alright. Just wondered what that symbol was, that's all. Not much else to be said about that. Was that a texture change in there? Yeah, I don't know what happened with that door. That's very strange. Looks kind of a bit screwed up. and then it suddenly corrects. Didn't notice that one before. Something new. So no, it doesn't look like there's going to be too much changes in the platform section. For me, complete and utter wasted opportunity. They could have done something really well here. I mean, seeing people on the platforms and that's great and that, but even if it was just like a hangar and you could actually just walk around the ship, it might have been better. It's kind of, for me, a bit of nothing. Anyway, let's head back. I think they can do that on the menu. Yeah. So it doesn't look like there's too much being changed down there, which is a bit of a shame. The frame rate, I would say, is possibly a little bit better than before, especially in space. I've noticed on the platforms the frame rate isn't particularly great. One thing I do find strange is, like, when you get a ship like that and you can just fly over to it and land on it, even though you don't even own the ship.
Object information added to ship computer database.
No, shut up, Betty.
Yeah.
This is the Albion Skunk.
An NPC
Requesting
ship I can
permission
just
to
suddenly
dock.
land on for no reason. I mean, if it was my ship, I'd be a bit annoyed if somebody just suddenly come on board without being asking permission. I just wondered if... what was that? Some blue light just popped up, didn't it? Strange. Yeah, just saw it then. There we go. I'm guessing there's something to do with the engine. See if we can get up and have a look. So what? That was saying there, isn't it? Man, I've jumped out of the bloody box. What the hell is that? A kettle? Case. Why do I want a case for? Yeah, they're looking like they're engine trails or something that are actually coming through the ship, so... I'm wondering if a very, very old bug has been fixed, which basically you could jump from a high area like this and go outside this sort of little area of this. All you needed to do is get up a little bit higher and just simply run and jump over. See if I don't know if I can do it from this one, but I'll give it a go. Yeah, there we go. They fell off the area, so that hasn't even been fixed. I mean, I think these sort of things were reported about 2 years ago, and so they still haven't fixed things like that after 2 years. Christ. I think, if I remember, there was even an easier one to do. Just remembering where it is now. And it was like you could just jump on here and then just off that way. Don't think it was that. There was a little generator or something, I think. Might not be this platform though, unfortunately. But we might be able to do it here. So you jump on here, over it, up on there, and then off here. Yeah. So no, they haven't fixed them issues, which is a bit of a bad thing to not be fixed in this amount of time? 2 years? Because the game only came out last year and it was testing it. So yeah, 2 years and it still haven't fixed that. I don't know, maybe that blue effect. Wrong button. Seems to be 2 green ships here. So, how do I select it? Must be part of the save game, give you a couple of ships. Oh yeah, all this squad thing, that wasn't fun.
Calling as requested, sir.
It's a shame as well, when they said the menu changed and all that a while back, they haven't changed the little radios down here as well. And I think that's what we were saying before, a bit earlier, is that the menu on the left, it's a shame they haven't updated all the menus, they've only just done certain menus. I really don't like these little menus. I mean, even on a console, which was one of the things that we weren't too sure about, Egosoft pretty much denied the console rumours, but it's kind of hard to ignore. Like, there was like 3,000 entries that said Xbox 360. I mean, it's kind of a bit hard to ignore, and especially how the game was or has been designed. For example, these little radio menus, which kind of tie up exactly with a sort of controller system, which is, when you think of a PC game, it's not going to be the first main instance of, well, not instance, it's going to be the first important thing. The person, you know, with a PC, you're expecting to use mouse and keyboard, so I expected them sort of menus, and to come up with this. Anyway, you don't
Ending
really
comm, sir.
know exactly what was going on with all that lot, and I don't think we ever will exactly know, but for me, it kind of, I thought it was, and I was kind of a bit peed off at the time because of it. But whether it still is, I don't know. I still, maybe it's me, don't believe the game was in production for 7 years. I mean, I suppose now it's coming up to 8 years. I mean, that is a long, long time. I mean, especially, okay, they've had to write a new engine as such, but they wasn't surely writing from complete scratch. I mean, especially once you've got the code from something like X2, X3, etc., you're going to have probably quite a good start. Why am I come over here for us? I don't think there's much here. Anyway, I think there's been a few more missions and that added, and I think there's some upkeep missions and things that have been added. But I think, in conclusion, that if you like Rebirth when it first come out, you're probably going to like what they've done to it. It's going to be running much faster. They're going to add in added more missions and things. The new DLC that's going to come out sometime in December, I think. You're going to like all them things. If you basically got Rebirth and thought, well, it felt a bit lacking, but it was okay, then you probably think the changes are going to be quite welcome. They might keep you going for a couple of weeks, and then you'll probably switch it off. Although, and then if you're kind of was a bit disappointed with the game, you're probably going to like quite a few of the changes again. You're probably going to once again play it for a couple of weeks and probably get to the point where I was way back about 11 months ago and thought, well, I don't know what to do. And but say the other condition is that if you hated how the game was, you didn't like some of the changes, then I guess you're probably still not going to get on with the game. Egosoft have put obviously more polish on it. They've put the radar, a few changes to the cockpit and things like that, and a few menus have changed, and there's going to be a few areas, obviously a couple more ships and stuff, but it's not going to change the core mechanics of the game. And way back, well, not that far back, you probably saw a while back I said I was kind of leaving the community, and kind of reason for that is that basically I wasn't kind of happy where this game was going, and I kind of looked at it at the core of its gameplay. I didn't want to say, oh, just look at it as the, you know, it's got a few problems with it and it just needs some fixes and that's it. I was looking at basically the core sort of 4 things that Ubisoft kind of have been promoting as the major features of the other game, which is the trading, the fighting, the think aspect, and the build. Now for me, the building isn't particularly great. I don't like the idea of building a single station at a set point. The think part, well, it's a lot of micromanagement rather than actually planning things, construction fleets and things like that. The fighting aspect, I feel, has got quite a lot of problems in its mechanics, basically because you've got only one ship, that this ship's got to be capable of destroying others, from the smallest ships to the biggest ships, and it means basically you're given pretty powerful weapons, and you can exploit some of the ship's weaknesses like these blind spots, and they can't do anything about it. Smaller ships obviously aren't too much a problem anyway. And then you've got your, what is it, I've got the last point. Stupid there. Think, build, buy, trade. Trade, yeah, obviously trading I didn't get on with. Trading, by the looks of it, doesn't look like too much has changed. I've never understood basically why a ship doesn't have just a cargo bay and you stick stuff in it. It would have been so much more simpler. Even this ship should have a certain size cargo, but they decided to have inventory wares and specific trade ships, and it just got too confusing for me. Well, not too confusing, but I just felt it was too confusing. It's something that could have been a lot more simplified, and in the previous games it was. So, anyway, basically I'd say for me the game hasn't changed that much. Okay, there's been quite welcome additions, and things that should have been on the release are kind of there now. But if you, as a whole, did found the game rather lacking, missing a lot of stuff, just seeing that ship blowing up. Gonna go. Gee, how long does it take to blow up? Thank you. I'd say as a whole though, is it gonna go in Whitmill? Jeez, that took some time to blow up. Anyway, like I was just trying to say before that ship rudely interrupted me, is that I feel that if you didn't like the game too much, you're probably going to think it's okay now, but you're probably going to keep you going a couple of weeks, depends on that DLC. If you like the game as it come out, then you're probably going to enjoy the features they've done and be playing it even more. But if you were in the mind that you didn't get on with the game, you felt it was really lacking and it missed a lot of things, excluding the bugs of course, then I think you're not going to find too much more playability in this. I think basically the core of the game's got faults in it, and Ubisoft have kind of committed themselves to this, and until we go to say Rebirth 2, that we're not going to see these big changes, I don't think. Whether they're going to be a Rebirth 2, I don't think so, I'm not sure, but Ubisoft haven't done themselves a lot of favours, so I don't think they could ever do a Kickstarter project. I think they would struggle on that. So basically
see how you go, guys. For me, I probably won't be playing it much. But anyway, see you later.